this is Simon Ward for Tri247 and I'm now joined by Julie Dibens. Julie, second today.
Yeah.
All started off brilliantly. Can you run us through the race first?
Yeah, the swim went okay. I was slightly disappointed I couldn't stay with the front pack of the guys. But you know, I still tried to swim hard and put as much time into Bella as I could. Then out on transition I really struggled to get going initially. My legs were really cold and just didn't feel like I was biking like what I'm capable of today. And the only thing I can really put that down to is the cold weather. And then out into the run I felt good for about the first mile, mile or two. And then things started just to get a little bit harder than they should have been for the pace I was running. And then early in the second lap, started getting cramp in my quads and my groin, and actually got one in my forearm as I went to grab a drink. So that kind of told me that things weren't quite right today. And then Bella caught me about halfway through the run, which at that point I knew was kind of inevitable. And then it was just a case of really focusing on the finish line and trying to get something positive out of the race.
So when you're not feeling good and you've been past like that, how difficult is it mentally to keep going?
It is hard, but I guess you have to look at everything that you put into getting here. And after going out to Singapore and getting a flat tire, I was really angry with myself for not finishing the race and fixing the flat. So at that point, it's just a case of really trying to do everything I can to finish the race.
Okay, but you had a good race 2 weeks ago, didn't you, in Switzerland? You had a good first place there.
Yeah, that was a fantastic result for me, and it's probably the fastest or the best run I've had in a long time. And so it's slightly disappointed, slightly confused as to what's changed in 2 weeks. Maybe I haven't recovered quite well enough from it, and maybe I just suffered in the cold weather.
Okay, so you talked about the preparation and the training you put into these races, and you know how that enters your head when you're not having a good day. I know that you use CompuTrain a lot. Perhaps you could tell us a bit about how that figures in your training.
Yeah, like as you know, I've used CompuTrainer for a big part of my career, especially during the winter months when it's raining a lot. But not only that, like even now I try and get on the CompuTrainer once or twice a week. I typically, the last sort of 2 months, I've been doing a really hard brick session where I get on the CompuTrainer and do a 20-minute time trial, and then some 10-minute time trials and some 5-minute time trials, trying to hold pretty much as hard as I can go. And I have an idea of what kind of wattage I'm trying to hold on that, and then I've been heading out on the run and running sort of 16, 18k at my goal pace. So those sessions are sessions that come into my head, like I know that I've done that in training, so there's no reason I can't do that or hopefully do more in the races. So you really try and reflect back on those kind of sessions.
And you know how much these triathletes love data. What sort of wattage would you be holding there, Julie, if you could let that one out of the bag? On
the 20-minute time trial, I'm looking between 280 and 300.
Okay.
And then on the 10 minutes, probably about 315. And then on the 5 minutes, I'm looking for 320, 325.
Okay.
So I know that if I can do that, there's not that many girls I don't think that can stay with me.
No. Well, you know that we had a camera out on the course today filming this for our new real course videos, and so next year you'll be able to train on this course.
Yeah,
we'll have the
fantastic.
profile, we'll actually have the real footage of the athletes on the course. And I see you've got an Ergomo Pro on your bike, so it'd be interesting to see how the wattages compare and how much you can match up with that in training.
I think that new tool that you guys are doing, I think it's fantastic, and it's something that I'll definitely use, especially for races that I haven't done before. Like I went out to Switzerland 2 weeks ago, I've never done that race. You know, and in hindsight, maybe I should have gone to see. I don't know if you've done that course yet.
I think we have.
Yeah.
Whether it's ready.
That's something that is really useful for people that don't get a chance to go out and ride the course beforehand. And it just gives you that little bit more of an insight on how you need to train and what you need to work on.
Now, one of the questions that people often ask me is, well, why would I have a CompuTrainer when I can ride, you know, the weather's sunny like this? Why would I have a CompuTrainer when I can ride outside? So as a pro, perhaps you could give us your viewpoint on that.
I think it's important to do both. But for me, the main advantage of the CompuTrainer is you know exactly what you're going to get. You know, you can go outside on a nice day, but it might be windy, you know, and you're doing the same loop that you might always do, but if it's really windy, you know, you might not know exactly whether you're improving or not. So I really use it as a gauge to show where my fitness is, because it's just so specific, and you can really work for extended periods of time at certain wattage. Out on the road, you've got lumps and bumps, and it's hard to really maintain the wattage that you might need to.
So it's almost a question of you doing what you need to do rather than what you'd like to do.
Absolutely, I think it's a really it's a balance of mixing it up, and sometimes you just need to get outside and not necessarily look at the wattage, just go outside and ride. But sometimes you just need to be really specific. Yeah.
And how much do you think you've improved then? You know, if you look back at your original CompuTrainer sessions, can you plot an improvement by using it?
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. Like it's only really been, I guess, the last 2 years that I've started doing 70.3s. So, and I talked to you about this last year, doing my specific 70.3 session is I try and get on there and hold, I guess, ideally 250 watts in 2.5 hours. And I find that really specific for clear water because it's so flat, and that's what you need to do. Whereas 3-4 years ago, there's no way I could do that. Like I haven't been in the lab for a couple of years and got tested, but I very much do it on feel now because I have my own CompuTrainer, which is nice. I can just use it whenever I want to, so it's fantastic.
Okay, so what's next for you after today?
I've got Xterra UK on Saturday, so it's going to be quite hard to turn this around. But I guess it's just going to be a case of resting up because Xterra UK is a pretty brutal course. You don't want to go into that race not feeling fantastic. And then I'll do the Lifetime Fitness Series in the States, so that kind of kicks off in the middle of July. So that's Minneapolis, New York, Chicago, LA and Dallas. And then my main goal of the year is Clearwater and Xterra World Champs. So I've deliberately tried to hit the season a little bit later this year, and I think that's why maybe I'm not feeling 100% in races and maybe not getting the results I got last year, whereas last year was very much a learning year and just getting out and really enjoying it and seeing what I could do. Whereas this year I think I'm trying to be a little bit more specific and hoping that I can peak in October, November.
So I remember we chatted after Clearwater last year and you said you felt perhaps in the middle of the year you hadn't done enough long running.
Yeah.
How will you be able to balance that out with doing the Lifetime Fitness Series?
Well, my schedule works out quite well this year, I think. I've got about a 6 to 8 week block sort of starting, I guess, the end of this month, so July and August, which will be more short course, and then from the beginning of September all the way up to October, November, like there's very little racing and it'll be much more focused on 70.3 again. Yeah. But I'll try to keep a long run in there every week. Whereas last year I wasn't so disciplined with that in a way. If I was a little bit more tired than I expected to be, I'd cut it back to maybe an hour instead of keeping it an hour and 30 plus.
Yeah. Okay, and of course the CompuTrainer sessions.
Absolutely, keep them in there. Like again, leading into Lifetime Fitness, it'll be more shorter, sharper stuff. So more like the 20-minute time trials, really trying to push out as many watts as I can for a short period of time, but then again in September it'll be more the holding 250 watts for sort of 2.5 hours.
Right, okay, well thanks very much for your time, Julie.
Alright.
And good luck for the rest of the season from Tri247 and from CompuTrainer.
Thank you.